Hey guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock, and yes, Kizzy Rock is my birth given name. Happy Thursday. Want to say hey to all my subscribers, new as well as seasoned. I got a word for you. Tap in. So guys, I want to piggyback off of the comment that was one of my good sis left in my comment section on my video this morning. So, okay. She said something to summarize, she feel God is calling her to marriage, right? By sending her random signs. She is 11 months into a healing season from a narcissist, after dealing with a narcissist, and she's a little afraid. So I want to elaborate off of a couple of things. All right, first thing first. This is not one of those videos or recording that is going around that a lot of people are doing by just using that word kingdom spouse and all this other stuff just to get people hopes up, just to get more views, right? I'm just not that chick, period. I'm a realist. And some of these people are just speaking just to speak, but they're going to be held accountable. But in saying that, God is definitely bringing marriages together more than ever. And the thing about it is, these marriages are going to happen swiftly. These are not going to be no long, drawn-out engagement for 27 years. We're trying to get to know each other. 27 years, we're still trying to get to know... Child. These things are going to happen so quickly. Here's why. Remember, there's a... What is the Bible verse in regards to under every... Oh, God. Y'all, please help me out. Under the sun, there's a season for everything. For a season under the sun, there's a... Oh my God. Something in reference to there's a season for everything. And this is the season for God-ordained marriages. Not marriages because you just want to marry a husband or a wife and you can just randomly pick this person. I mean, you can do that. Right? You can do that. You have free will. But I'm speaking more about the marriages that God is bringing together for God-ordained purposes. Not because marriages is cute for Instagram. Not because it's cute because you don't want to be lonely. You need somebody to tickle your fancy. No. That's not what this is about. These marriages will definitely be a ministry. The reason why it's going to happen quickly, because anything that is God ordained is a natural fit. So, a recording I made several days ago, you heard me speaking in regards to God is removing the scales off of a lot of men's eyes. There is, off of everybody's eyes, but there is something in the spiritual realm going on where God is really settling and waking up a lot of men spiritually who've been spiritually asleep. This is why a man can't see you unless God have awakened him to you. So this can look like people, the prodigal sons or whatever, or even the prodigal daughter. Is that even a thing? I don't even know. But they left for whatever reason, right? They could have, addiction could have taken over their lives and they left their family. These people are coming back home, right? After God have really, cleaned them up, etc. They're coming back home, right? Or these can look like some just random strangers, somebody you never met, but the minute you meet, boom, the spirits collide. The spirits collide. And there's no question. Those of you who God have not shown who your peoples is, your kingdom partners, kingdom spouses, destiny helpers, right? Whatever term you want to use. If God has not shown you this, he's given you the promise, but he haven't shown you. Hear me and hear me well. Because I know there's a lot of conversation in regards to counterfeits. And counterfeits is a real thing. With your purpose partner, your kingdom spouse, there will be a spirit. There will be a feeling in your spirit that you've never felt before. There will be a peace. There will be a calmness. It's literally the missing piece to your puzzle. excuse me, it fits, it literally, and I'm not speaking anything physical. I'm not speaking about because she looks like arm candy. I'm not speaking about, oh, he looks like he's this, he got this amount of money. I'm not speaking anything physical. It is the piece to something missing in your spirit. Almost similar to a person who can literally just calm your triggers. Where everybody else triggers you because whatever you got going on. This person soothes and calms your spirit. It feels as if you're laying on a cotton bed with no, it feels at peace, it feels at home, it feels safe. So when you encounter this person, you don't have to be too much up in your head about counterfeits. Because counterfeits look good, like they look good on paper, right? But if you're moving solely on flesh, you won't be able to discern a counterfeit versus the authentic. If you're tapped in spiritually, your spirit can't shake this person. Your spirit can't even see past this person. Even if you try to go, like you go on, life goes on, you do your thing, right? You just do your thing. But something keeps bringing your spirit back to this particular person. To those of you who already know who your person is, if you're a female, yes, God will show. God definitely will show a woman who her kingdom spouse, purpose partner is. Personally, I don't believe the woman is to go act or even speak on that thing, right? You just chill, right? Because they can't see you anyway. Not until God opens their eyes. So you just got to chill. Go do your thing. There's nothing wrong with dating. Nothing wrong with dating. Just, handle yourself accordingly. But you know that you know that you know that you know. And it doesn't matter what it looks like in the physical realm. It really doesn't matter what you got going on, what they got. It doesn't even matter. You know that you know that you know. Again, many times God will show you something in advance because he already know if he doesn't show you something to work towards, or he doesn't show you something that really keeps you intrigued, child, you'll be somewhere with 25 soul ties. You'll be somewhere like just toxic, right? So he's keeping you at bay. This is why many people are literally being transformed and being healed, and it's for marriage, and they don't even realize it. God showed you something, God gave you a promise, then boom, he throws you inside the wilderness, and you're just like, what? Why am I in the wilderness? Because ain't even nothing happening over here. So why am I in a season of testing? Why am I in the season of this? Why am I in the season of delay? Why am I in the season of pruning? He's preparing you for marriage and you don't even realize it. You just think he's being mean and he's punishing you, and God knows half of the stuff you've been through ain't your fault. He knows your parents were crazy. God bless them, they didn't even know, right? he knows, that a wave of crack came into the community, the black community, right? He knows there's a whole generation of people who didn't have parents because the parents were strung out somewhere. Like, he knows this. And he's not holding it against you. It's not your fault. But it is your responsibility to heal from that. To heal from the rejection, to heal from the abandonment, to heal from the abuse. That part is your responsibility. This is why many of you are feeling a conviction to forgive your parents. Like, let's say you have a father who wasn't really there. Another thing that's popping up in my spirit, those of you who had those fathers and you were only told certain things from your mother, like seriously, like you had no access at all to your father and you were just told everything from your mother about how your father didn't want to see you, how your father never wanted to be in your life. Listen, you will realize that a lot of that stuff is not true. This is why God is pressing on some people to forgive people, because when you forgive, you then can go back, as you move your pride aside, you can go back and have a conversation. You will be surprised at some of the things you learned that weren't true, and you will be surprised of how some of the things that they give you now will help release you from being tied up to that generational cycle, that web, that trauma, that hurt, that pain. That will actually release you, which God needs in order for you to be prepared for what God has for you. So see, obedience is not easy, but obedience is important, because God may be calling you to be obedient to one thing. Hey, reach out to that person, have that conversation with your dad. And it's like, I ain't got time for that, right? But the obedience is what's going to open certain things up. People like to say things like, well, God promised me this and God promised me that. Yeah, but it's going to be your obedience that allow God to do it. Regardless if you want to do it. Because most times, honey, the things that God asks you to do, honey, you're going to have to kill your flesh in whatever way. Because God have you going back blessing people, or attempt to even have a conversation with somebody who did you wrong. And it's like, come on, seriously? Why I gotta? Because there's something in that conversation that you need. And then even about the person got one up on you. It's something that's going to free you. And even if your father wasn't there then, do you know what kind of insight and what kind of wisdom he can give you now to help you? Because you're not a child anymore. I mean, it's nothing he can tell you about, childhood. But that's still wisdom that he can give you to help you to be a better husband, right? Or even a wife, give you some information. Now that he couldn't give you then. If God is calling you to marriage, like my good sis said in the comment section, she must have looked for some type of venue or hall some years ago when she was with somebody else. And that was years ago. And these people randomly called her, randomly, while she's single, to say, hey, are you still interested in the venue? God will send you some random. See, some people think God's going to come knock on their front door and say, God's going to say, hey, I am God. Let me just tell you this, and that. God is going to send you all kind of random signs, to the point that you can't even ignore the signs. When you try to ignore them, the signs will amplify. They will accelerate. They will keep coming and keep coming. And it's going to be random things. Random things like how my good sis talking about. You can be sitting in the park somewhere, honey. You can be sitting in the park. There's 20 birds around you just sitting there eating something off the ground. Something happens. Somebody walk by. All the birds shoes and fly off. There's one bird standing there staring at you in your eyes with a white feather in his mouth. Just staring at you. God will send you all kind of random signs. He will send you numbers. He will send you songs. It will be random people who come and say something to you. And you're just like, Lord, oh my. He will overwhelm you with signs. Now, some of you want that. Some of you are like, where is my sign, right? Maybe you don't need any. Because God have already told you and you got it. He's given the signs to the people who are either running for marriage, who don't think they can do it correctly, or who just don't want it. The people who just don't want it, God is also starting to change your desire. He's waking people up and he's changing your desires. Again, men are going through a spiritual awakening where God can really, really show them where he needs them right now, purpose and calling type of thing, right? They got to see that first, right? So I think a lot of men, I just had a flashback. Somebody called me last night about the same thing. He's about to relocate because God has shown him some things. But God is really waking people up, and men are being introduced or reintroduced to purpose in a different way if they're not currently in alignment with what God needs in this season. Once these men get established in their purpose and the way God wants to use them, then they're going to definitely see you in that light. If they're already in purpose, right, godly purpose, then it's nothing. So because the men are being spiritually awakened, and so many women are in the process and don't even know why. Well, now you know. That's one reason why you're in the process, right? You're in the process and you don't even know why God is sitting here taking you through all this stuff, and you think it's for no reason. No, you're being prepared, because that's going to be the cause of boom, why it happened so quickly. You're already prepared for the marriage. Didn't even know what was coming, but you're already prepared for it. And then the man now has open eyes. Spirits collide. It's nothing. Spirits collide. So nobody gonna be sitting here engaged for no 27 years. It ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen. There's a misconception that all women want to be married. Most do. Some women didn't have a desire to be married because God was using them for purpose and calling in most seasons, if not all seasons of their lives. Where now that those seasons are coming to an end, this is why God is drawing up a lot of seasons. Some of you guys know that. Certain things that was like, you know your season is drying up in a certain area. However God's been using you, right? Even on your job or this or certain ministries or certain this is why God is drying up a lot of other areas, and you're frantically thinking like, oh my goodness, what's going on, because I'm losing everything, and it's like, this is my bread and my butter, and now I no longer have an interest in it like that, or it's no longer even like getting any volume. I'm not even getting like money in this area. Like, why is God drying things up? He's drying things up because he's about to shift your season. So you're going into a season of marriage, and it's not that God won't even bring those things back. Right? He may bring it back, but right now he just needs you to focus on how he's preparing you for marriage. Some of you guys have came out of a divorce recently and feel like, I'm never going to do it again and I'm still healing. Yes, you're right. Heal. But you'll be surprised how God can do an acceleration when he's calling you to something. So you may think you need a whole 2 years to heal, honey. God mess around and have you meet somebody. That man soothed all those triggers, all those worries, all those concerns, completely different from what you left. And now people are looking at you like, well, you had divorced 4 months ago. Well, I'm getting married 2 months later. This is why many of you had to go through a divorce, because that wasn't, and I'm not saying like anything like God is all for divorce. I'm not saying none of that, honey, but I will tell you this right here. God will move mountains if he wants his purpose done, point blank, period. You in his way, you can get it, point blank, period. That's why he's shaking up the camp. Oh, he's shaking up the camp. This is why you can't worry about what's going on in the fleshly room. Oh, God is shaking up the counterfeits. Whoever's in your territory, honey, God has shooken up the camp. Period. Oh, a shaking is here. So for those of you who came out of a marriage and you're still hurting and you feel like you would never do it again because you just had the wrong person, please, 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 please don't stunt your blessings because you feel like all men are dogs or all men are this and all men. You had the wrong person. And be honest with yourself. Was God really in it? Like, seriously. I mean, God might have been a little bit in it, so you think, but was God really, 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 really in that thing? Or was he just fine? Or was she just thick? Y'all, I'm sitting in the middle of a parking lot, right? Literally in the middle of a parking lot, right? God be giving me these downloads. I have to pull over and talk to you guys. Another reason why some women fear marriage, my good sis was saying here, I think she was saying more, she feared more so less because, again, listen, if you've ever encountered narcissist abuse, it takes a long time for you to find your footing again. Like, that's a whole healing season by itself. So I think she was just saying that in the sense of, it's the recovery from the narc abuse. But some people also have a fear that they're not going to do it right. I think you said this too, sis. Meaning you never saw it modeled correctly. In fact, you only see marriage as toxic and straight head busting. Like, there's nothing sexy about it. There's nothing romantic about it. There's nothing authentic and genuine about it. There's nothing that's secured and, like, there is no foundation. Like, you've never seen it modeled. But again, this is why God have presented you with certain examples right in front of your face. And like I said to you, sis, in the comment section in regards to this, here's the key with that. The key with these kind who never saw it, and you're afraid because you don't want to, like, be all bogged down like your mom was, and all suppressed and depressed like your mom was because she had the wrong man who just basically just, like, and the energy in the house was always so dark and so heavy, and you always associated marriage with that nonsense and that foolishness. That's not what marriage is about. That's just the key to this group. You're going to have, well, really it's all groups, but this is for everybody. You are going to have to stay connected spiritually. You are going to have to be so disciplined that you do not disconnect from God, or so much so that when you feel that conviction to start getting back spiritually aligned, that you run to it. You're going to have to stay spiritually connected, because God will literally guide you and teach you along the way. This is why God is giving you now insights about this man in certain struggles or certain this, certain this. He's giving you all kind of insights already. When God starts giving you certain dreams and stuff, those stuff be so random. You're like, why I got a dream about a pink fish? Why I got... They're bits and pieces of things that will tell a story when you put them all together. God is literally giving you insights now. So you're going to be aware. You can be aware that when these things pop up, you won't run so easy. Because people who are traumatized, you run easy. The minute something gets hard, you're dipping, right? You can't dip on these kind of marriages when things get hard. So God is literally preparing you now, telling you this may be a struggle area, because it's going to be attacked. Anything that's from God is going to be attacked. I don't care what it is. If it's from God, it's going to be attacked. So this is why He's really, really shaping you now to stand these fiery trials in this season of processing, because you got to stop running. That's why He's taming that mouth, because you surely ain't going up in there with that mouth. So the areas that He's working on now is all connected, but you're going to have to stay connected when it's all said and done. He's going to show you how to be a wife. He's going to show you how to be a father. Maybe you never saw it, right? Your daddy had 35 side chicks every 6 months, right? The Holy Spirit will literally teach you. And what's so good, He'll teach you based exactly on what your person needs. Just not a man in general or a woman in general, but He will prepare you and show you and teach you and transform you to the very person that your people's need. So much so that you ain't got to worry about the side chick. Child, he ain't going nowhere. I'm solid from every angle. He ain't going nowhere. Try me not. You better know what I carry. I will rebuke you on sight. And he will be convicted on sight. Ain't nothing happening. I need a nap, honey. I'm tired. Men. This is why you're going from just being in the strip club every Saturday to just wanting to Netflix and chill. You just like this something is coming over you where you just like, I think she may be the one. I mean, I feel like that. I had a friend told me that the other day. I was talking to him. I mean, he was like, Kizzy, listen, I didn't really want to do this again because he's been married before, but he's like, I think, I don't know what's going on, because I said I would not do it. Matter of fact, I didn't even like her like that at the beginning. I was trying to run from her, but I think she might be the one. I said, well, when you going to propose? God is waking men up. You don't have to do it, ladies. You don't have to beat them upside his head. In fact, you're just going to run them away when you keep trying to, right? God is waking men up. Just play your position. Do your part. Accountability, accountability, accountability. You got to stop blaming men. Do your part. Because when these men find you, you can't be half behinding it. I almost said it. You can't be half behinding it. The work that God called you to put in was for a reason. You got to stand firm. I think that's all I got. That's all in my spirit. My spirit feels empty, so I think I've given it all. But either which way, I hope this helps you guys. You guys have a great one. It's your girl, Kizzy Rock.